host Lhagic, Asafo in the house online. Live stream PSN, Friday nights, 12 in the A&M. Beginner news, trend news and interviews. You ain't non-GMO, ain't been approved. Just hit that like button and subscribe to it. Rap gamers, all our viewers vibe to it. Rap gamers, we gon' put the MC back and get it XP. Rap gamers, we gon' put the MC back and get it XP.
Everybody, welcome to our first episode of AsafoDigital presents Rap Gamers. I'm gonna be your host, Lhagic. That's Lhagic. You can check the information right there. You know, we out here right now. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. We in the building with Sorgatron Media. We doing big things for the city. We trying to give you all platforms to get your voices heard, you know, and do more for you all to inspire the minds of our youth, of the people, everybody that listens and watches what we got going on. But, you know, long story short, you know, we're going to bring the best of both worlds together. Hip hop, video games. Two of the most amazing things that have been so influential in hip hop culture since the beginning. You know, video games, man. It's where it's at, man. It's the new wave, the most important thing online. You know, the biggest thing that's growing every day. In fact, you know, we just had a new game that dropped today. I believe it was Call of Duty. You know, things are just changing the world right now. But today we about to get into some real live interview with a phenomenal hip hop artist that's up and coming from our city of Pittsburgh, Infamus Major. So, what's going on with you, bro?
How you doing, man? Glad to be here. Glad to be here. Big things popping.
Yeah, man. You ready to get into this this PS Mortal Kombat?
You mean
XL?
you ready to get your behind whooped?
I mean, you're welcome to try. I take all challenges. You know, I like it. I'm accepting all challenges. And if you think that you're a challenger and you want to get on this couch, make sure you submit your information to AsafoDigital@gmail.com. I need your whole EPK, but we want to see what time it is. We want to see what you got to bring to the table, and how can you uplift the youth through what you do. So, what is it that you do? Tell the audience about, you know, how you get down, how long you've been doing what you do.
As of right now with the music, I'm trying to change the sound. I've been doing mainly hip hop. I tried all different genres, but I mean, I just didn't like the vibes. The vibes were terrible. Growing up in a bad neighborhood, I didn't want to promote that. I didn't want that to be.
Vibes? Tell me about the vibes.
It's just, they say product of your environment, so to speak. So living in an aggressive neighborhood, I was an aggressive person. I had an aggressive personality, but I feel like it was bringing me backwards. So my goal is to take a positive way of music and mixing it with the new sound. I try to keep up with the sounds, but not be like the new, you know, not like the new wave.
What you mean? Like what part of the new wave do you not want to be like? And explain that to me.
Okay.
So that our viewers can really get a better
First, I want to start with the new wave today. It's the drugs. It's the drugs. It's the selling of the drugs, and worse, it's the doing of the drugs. Growing up in a community where drugs were present, we didn't do them. But nowadays it's cool where everybody does drugs. They're making music about it. I see kids slumped out on the bus stops. They're unconscious. It's disgusting. I don't want to have anything to do with that. But I noticed that the sound alone is amazing of the music. So
why do you think that sound is like that?
Because it brings people together. I mean, the sound is fun. I mean, the way the music is designed, you can bring in different genres all together. I noticed the genres are all beginning to blend, so everybody is listening to everything. I like that. I don't want that to change, and it seems like right now is where that's really happening. I think that's a good time to get in and try to make a new genre.
So tell me, like, so what is it that really drives you? Like, what really inspired you to want to do hip hop? Like, what was your inspiration? It's
life, man. I literally can't make an album if I'm not going through anything. Like, let's say I'm sitting on the couch, I don't got nothing going on outside. I won't write any music. I don't care if it's 9, 10 years. I'm not going to falsely promote myself. If I have nothing going on, I'm not going to write any music. But life happens every day. So naturally, I'm going to have something to promote. But I want it to be based off of what I am going through. I like to tell a story.
And that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah,
I think that's something that we, as artists, take advantage of by forgetting that, you know, you have to live life to have something to talk about.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not really about just jumping on the gimmick or the wave that everybody else is doing. We need originality in your artistry. What makes you unique? I'm sure you got a unique tale that made you the artist that you are, and, you know, and things that drive you into your creation. But You know, where do you feel hip hop is going? Just like as locally, for you being an artist, how do you feel things are panning out?
Locally, I'm just not a fan. And nothing against artists out there. I mean, I can never knock nobody's game. You guys are, everybody's talented. But what I noticed is everything's beginning to sound the same. You know, now with all the different genres that's mixing, you still in the hip hop aspect of all the genres out, it is all beginning to sound the same. Where as far as this guy is designed to sound like the guy before him or after him even, where it's cool to sound like the person before you. Whereas growing up, you remember when we growing up, you know, D Block, Fabulous, everybody sound different. And when a guy came out with a different sound, everybody recognized it. Now you come out different and people are like not really trying to listen. I just don't understand that. So I wanna remind people that originality is the way to go.
Okay, so I want to actually get into some of your records. We want to play some of the music so we can get a listen of what you actually got and what you're bringing to the table. And we'll talk about each record to see, you know, what went behind that. Where was your mind at when we were creating?
Yeah, that's dope.
So hold on, and don't be getting your butt kicked so often.
I just won. Didn't I just win?
I didn't see that.
I seen it. I felt it. I mean, when your guy's standing there breathing and the other guy's laying on the ground, that indicates victory to me. I mean,
yeah. Sometimes you have to be in denial. So hold on, we about to cue something up in a moment. Let you guys get a listen to something. Okay, so this record right here is called Family Excellence, and we're going to get into it. Listen to your lyrical content, see what you're talking about.
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and get into that. Yeah, this actually, I want to say 2012. It's actually went on Whammo.
Oh, true story?
Yeah, this song blazed on Whammo for about 5 weeks. I put it on Local Love. It played on Local Love for 2-3 weeks, and people began to call in and request it without me even advertising the song. But what originated it was me and my family, my ex-wife, unfortunately, we're doing, big things, and in a positive way. I was working hard. She was working hard. We were teaching the kids that you can get nice things through hard work, and they understood. My son, he's great. He's like a gentleman, holds the door open for women, grabs the grocery bags, man, please, sir. They just understood hard work. And with that said, man, it inspired me to write this jam. Plus, my son was just born, little Lamont.
Kill me when I'm not looking. Don't be.
I got to get ahead, man. Get him where you can fit in, Yeah, but when my son was born, and the way it happened was great. I mean, we were married first.
Okay.
You know how that doesn't happen. We were married first, and then Lamont was born. So everything was done right, so to speak. And after I came home from the hospital, looked at him a whole lot more, and just thought of how we progressed. It really inspired me to write this jam. Plus, everybody wants to be in the club with all these different women. I wanted to show that it's cool to show love to your woman. You're one woman. You're one woman to show love.
Yours, not nobody else's.
Yeah, and
we got a lot of records out here today about taking other people's women. That's very weak. You can find your own. There's a lot of women out there that need wonderful husbands to protect them, to watch over them. We need that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what's up.
So I wanted to make that cool. I wanted people to say, "Oh, he's talking about his wife, not thoughts." So it inspired me to go downstairs and put this together.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna listen. Let me get this verse.
And also talking about, just going through good things. It all came from hard work. All hard work. I mean, everything's possible, man. All you got to do is grind, get focused, and have somebody in your corner who's willing to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And just leave all that garbage alone.
The music sounds good, though.
I appreciate that.
I like it, man.
I appreciate it.
You're not staying in the same type of waters that everybody else is treading in.
Huge.
Yeah, we don't need no more killing our own, shooting our own, selling drugs to children. That is not the ticket. I don't care how much they reward you for killing your own people in your music. You need to stop that and be more original. Come out here and be an artist that has something not only to say to the world, but something that's going to influence the people that are listening to do better things or to be more creative in a positive light.
And one thing I noticed, I'm gonna just state, being this how I never stuck to the way. I've gained so much respect. Like when we went on tour, I've inspired people to want to do a more realistic style of music. I had guys come to the studio who like all trap music. There came guys doing all club music, and I let them hear my records, and they're like, "Oh man, I would love to write a real song." You know what I'm saying? And that just meant a lot to me. Like, oh, so you think this is real music? And if I can inspire you,
so are you
to
saying,
follow the way.
When you say that, are you saying that music contrary to what you're producing is not real music? Or are you saying that it sits outside of something that's needed?
It depends.
What are you saying?
Because music is an art, and an art is expressive. And if you're just following other people, you're not expressing. And if you're not expressing, that's not real to me. So I'm not saying that the music is not real. I mean, everybody has something they can relate to. Like, for example, some people like to go out. So listening to wavy music is good to them. But the people who are recording it is recording it because it's the new way. And you're not expressing yourself. With that said, you're not being
Make sure
real.
you're getting this work. You got to get this work. I don't feel like doing the
You
freebies. I'm getting the freebies.
You're asking me deep questions, and then I start answering them, and then you start slapping me around with superpowers. It's cool,
That's
though.
the goal. You're supposed to do.
It's cool, though.
On this show, you get slapped around with superpowers. That's what happens on the game. So as far as like what you're working on right now, like where's your direction as far? I see that you want to be positive and whatnot, but what is this album going to be talking about? The one that you're working on currently.
This album I'm working on now is it's kind of in the same direction, man. I want to keep it real. I want to keep it raw. I want you to get to know me, the good and the bad. I got nothing to hide. I don't want to glorify it like I'm a perfect person. I want you to get to know the worst of me.
So what's the worst of you? Let me know, like, what do you mean by that? Why is
you're gonna have to listen to to get that kind of information. You're gonna have to listen to the mix. But I'm not gonna glorify anything. It's not gonna be fun. But the goal is to make it sound fun. So when you listen to the music, you listen to the beats. I'm telling you something real.
You want to cheer people up. You don't want people to be angry after listening to your music.
I don't want you to be down. I want you to get the message. I don't want you to be down and out. I don't want you to be like, man, this guy is depressing me. I want you to know that I got through it. You could get through it. And hopefully I can help you get through it with the music.
True story.
So, I want it to be real. I want it to be raw. Like I said, no bars hold, no secrets, no nothing. You're going to get to know me in the realest form.
Now, make sure, for the viewers that are out there listening to what we got going on right now, make sure you're interacting with us. Ask us questions, things that you want to know about this artist right here, Infamous Major. And make sure you hit that subscribe button, like our channel. You know, stay tuned to everything we got going on. We're going to be doing this.
Which direction you pointing for the link? Is it on the screen? I always wanted to do that. I always wanted to point at the link.
Oh, yeah, the link will show up usually right underneath us.
So
you can get all the information, especially
right down there.
To my brother's site as well, Infamous Major. Make sure you check out his music. Share the music. You know, only by supporting one another are we able to advance with the things that we have, man. We got to support businessmen that are entrepreneurs trying to do their own thing outside of the current mediums, because a lot of these mediums are set up to keep young brothers out. And I want to make sure that we have an outlet to get everybody going the way that we want to influence the minds of our youth to be more positive and to be more creative and to get into technology as well. You know, AsafoDigital is about us doing this technology thing. How do you feel about technology in the schools with your children? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about video games? Do you feel like they're a nuisance? Do you feel like they're helpful?
To be honest, Lhagic, I've been wanting to get into that. First and foremost, I think technology is a nuisance.
Okay.
Because that's without the right guidance. But with video games, I wanted to cover that, man, because I noticed growing up, they always told kids that the video games was polluting their minds. You got kids who would play like, for example, like Grand Theft Auto, and when they get good at taking the cars, or they get good at running drug chains, and they get good at robbing people, they feel like they could do that.
Okay.
But I wish I had a way to take that same aspect of the game and show you just through the realism of thought, how often do you die in the game trying to do that? You don't have as many chances in life as you have in the game. So you try to be this character in the game and you die, it's over. So I think you need to take that in perspective. Have your fun in the game, but use it as a way to realize, man, I just need to keep this on the screen. You know what I'm saying? Because you take this car, you run down the street, you crash it into a bank. You can't do that twice. You're not going to be able to go to sleep, wake up, and then do that again in the morning. You know, so I mean, I think it could be a positive way to show people like, okay, yeah, like this is definitely not a reality. I really can't do this for real. Keep it on the screen. Maybe you want to escape. Yeah, that's fun. But
now, do you feel that if we were in control of these outlets, if we had our own gaming studios and were able to produce games for our children to play, do you feel like that would make it a better thing because we'd be able to tell our stories in a more positive light? Or do you think...
I mean, when you have control, you can absolutely change the outcome of what you got going on. So, yeah, I think that would be a real positive thing.
Okay.
I think it'd be a real positive thing.
What games are you really interested in playing? Like, what do you play when you play?
I play Forza all day. Forza all day. I got a wheel hooked up to my rack. You know what the rack is? It's like it's a piece of equipment you work out on.
Okay.
But I set it down on the ground and I attach my wheel to it, so I got a little cockpit. I'd be in there driving all day. It's ridiculous. Somebody needs to take it away from me.
So tell me about this driving thing. You seem to have a passion with driving. Tell me a little bit more about that.
I love driving, man. The first time I've been on the track, I wasn't good. I wasn't afraid to go fast, but I didn't really know much about it. But I started learning.
Now you're talking about video game or real life?
No. I'm talking about real life. The only reason why I like racing games now is because the simulators are actually on point. Like the simulators simulate racing, like really accurately. You know, so it gives me a chance to race whenever I want to race.
Oh, that's what's up.
So I like to get on the game and I like to bring back some memories, maybe. You know what I mean?
So how do you feel about games like Friday the 13th or, you know, Dead by Daylight? Tell me a little bit about these games.
I never played Dead by Daylight, but the Friday the 13th, man, I like what they're going with that. It gives you a chance to get in the shoes of Jason. It gives you a chance to get in the shoes of the character, maybe run around a little bit, see what it was like to be maybe in a horror flick or even on set or anything like that, man. As long as it's creative and it's indulging. Anything indulging, I like that. If you can suck me in, it's all good.
So what game really is besides like racing, do you have any other game outside of that that really like works your mind, gets you thinking about puzzles?
Assassin's Creed.
You know a new Assassin's Creed just came out, Origins.
You don't even got to tell me. I knew before they knew that game was coming out.
Man,
but the problem with
tell me about it.
Is it's a knowledgeable game. Whoever created that game, man, yeah. I give a hand to them.
Salute.
Because
I love it, man. I love it.
Because Assassin's Creed, now, that's a positive game, okay? Now, they're talking about assassination. They're talking about eliminating another side of people. But these people are bad, so to speak. And what he's trying to do is find out origins of himself, origins of his way, origins of his people. And you gain all kind of knowledge. Now, at the bottom of the game, it says fictional, right?
Right.
Every information on that game that they ever gave me, I looked it up. It was not fictional. I learned a lot about Leonardo da Vinci. I learned that he made weapons for the army. I learned he was a crossdresser. I learned this in the game.
True story.
Like now if you could gain that kind of knowledge every day playing the game, could you imagine?
You're telling me that it's actually educational.
It's educational, man, and it's fun. Okay. And there's puzzles, so it exercises your mind. It keeps you in, and it's so educational. And then all the structural stuff, is accurate. I looked at pictures. The pictures are accurate. I felt like I've been to Rome. I had war stories from that game. I told my friends, yeah, I've been on the top of the Coliseum. You know what I mean? Like, it's just an amazing game all the way around.
You know,
more games like that would be on point.
And I think that they took it in a great direction, allowing another type of narrative to be told.
Yeah.
You know, seeing a gamer that looks like us is amazing. Because I love the representation of being myself. I love to be inside of video games and feel like I am who I really am. And, you know, making people become one with the game is really the thing. You know, and like you were saying, sometimes our children get influenced by playing GTA, and then they think that they just want to go, their whole life is I want to rob, steal, kill. Every song, every piece of creation that they create becomes detrimental. It becomes full of evil and unrighteousness. Like we forget the difference between good and evil. And we think sometimes because we're getting money, sometimes because we're getting money, we're getting paid from it, we're getting rewarded, that it has no effect on those around us. And that's the type of self-centeredness we do need to get rid of in our communities when it comes to anything that we create. So, you know, we're really trying to just bring people together on this show on Rap Gamers. We want to get the artists on the couch. We want to know what they feel, you know, the voices that might not be heard. We want them to get out to the world. We want to let y'all know how these artists really do their thing. So, you know, I want to get into another one of your records. I want to hear what else you got, because we need to hear a couple records to really get a good feel for this artist, Infamus Major. Make sure you check out his music. Please go to his site, share his music, download his music. You know, we got to support one another. Black Gamers Matter, man. We really need to hold each other down. And, you know.
All downloads are free as of right now, too. You know, I decided not to try to gain any money out of this current mix. You know, I had a lot of things to say, but I hid it in plain sight. So I want to pick people's brains. So it's all free. It's all free. I want to pick people's brains. I want responses. I want questions. I want comments. That's what it's all about. I want to connect with y'all. I want y'all to connect with me. Ask me questions. I want to see what you think.
Yeah. So how are the viewers doing right now out there? Any questions coming our way in the stream? That's cool. That's good. So right now, what we want to do is
ask if you competitively game.
Do I competitive? I will competitively game if
there's a
challenge. If the challenge is there, I haven't seen too many challenges though. You know, you have to pique the interest. You know, how do you feel about competitive gaming?
I love competitive gaming, man. I mean, competition is always good. I think competition is healthy. I think competition is healthy. You learn a lot about yourself. But the game is fun. It gives you a way to reach out and connect with people all over the world. Like, I still can't get over that. Like, I was just playing racing with some dude who was literally in Europe. You know what I mean? And we connected. I started asking him questions about where he's from. He was telling me a lot about what's going on over there. He started asking me questions about where I'm from. You know what I mean? And the connection was crazy. And now he's on my friends list. You know what I'm saying?
I know that we're playing this fighting game right now, and it's martial arts based, Mortal Kombat, as it's always been.
So, I mean,
tell me about that, because I want to know more about how you feel about martial arts. I understand that you're into that, so
you're gonna get me into that. Okay. Yeah. For example, man, everybody grew up watching Barney, watching Power Rangers, watching, you know, Lamb Chops play along. I was in front of the TV watching Bruce Lee, and it wasn't really Bruce Lee's martial arts at first. It was something about the way he spoke. Bruce Lee was so intelligent. He drawed me in, you know, and the way he spoke just consumed me. And then I started to pay attention to his movies. I started to understand why he's doing what he's doing. And I tried martial arts for the first time myself. I believe I was 12. I was 12 years old, and it taught me a lot about myself. It was hard. It was extremely hard, and a lot of people were tougher than me. But at the end of the day, even though there was sparring going on, and at the time I didn't understand the difference between sparring and fighting.
Was there a time that you ever felt like just giving up and just you felt broken because the way they were sending you through that discipline?
Man, I would go home someone different. I would be crushed. I would be crushed. I was like, man, this is too hard. You know, I can't get flexible. Every time I try to reach someone, I can't get to them. They're getting me first. I feel stupid. I feel like I'm never going to get this. You know, I would feel that a whole lot. But my teacher was he was much like Bruce Lee himself. He always had positive words.
Oh, that's great.
He always had positive words.
You know, it's great when we could find teachers that are really instilling that positivity into our children. And, you know, encouraging them to want to work smarter and not harder.
Because it's crazy because the world around you always beats you down. And in order to survive, you don't need to have a gun. You don't need to have the best drug. You don't need to have the sharpest mind. You have to have drive. Right. Without drive, you have nothing. There is nothing without drive. You can have a ton of ambition, but you need to have it honed in. You know, ambition is like a boat on the ocean with no oars. You're just going to be sitting out there with all of this water and no direction. So he was always able to take my ambition because I always went back, no matter how crushed I was. He's able to take my ambition and sharpen it for me into a wave. And then I was able to use that energy positively.
Okay. That's what's up. So have you done any tournaments since, and like, what did you attain? What's your degree as far as like, you know, in martial arts training? What belt did you acquire?
Martial arts was different for me. It was extremely spiritual. Honestly, I was not interested in tournaments whatsoever. I took the ability and I polished it and I used it in my life. You know, I applied those morals into my life. And young, like not even as an adult, but young, I applied those same morals into my life. For some reason, I could just see the relation right away. So it wasn't about tournaments or trophies for me ever. There was a time where I asked my teacher, hey, man, when am I going to get a black belt? You know, just so I could say I got a black belt. But, I mean, that was for a small period of time. It wasn't until about boxing to where I wanted to do something like that.
So do you think, are these things that kept you out of the street life that made you want to go a different path?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Do you think that that's really like, is it hard for, you know, our young guys? Because you were young once, so you should know as a young man. Was it hard for you to not be attracted to the pitfalls that, you know, become a lot of our young men and women? Or was it like a pretty easy thing for you? Did you see it as something that you were just like, it's just natural? How was that for you?
To be honest, Lodge, I mean, I fell victim multiple times. So it was actually very complicated because the streets is what took me out of who I was. I left martial arts alone. I left philosophy alone. All of the positive vibes, I left it all alone, and I started to fall victim to the same thing everybody else did for a long time. And it's tough. There's been so many times where I'm like, man, I don't need this. Man, I don't need this. But you get involved with the wrong people, you know, old people you might know, or something you might see that might take you back. It's complicated. And unfortunately, in the world we live in, we don't have enough leaders paying attention to that and making a way for kids to get out. You know, kids have a ton of energy, and it's going to go negative if it isn't honed in. You have to help them develop a positive way to waste this energy, or do something with it at least. Okay.
So you just let me do you dirty. What's the what record we about to play? I want to listen to some of his music. What's it? Okay. Yield to authority.
Yield to authority.
Yeah, we about to get into that.
That's an interesting concept there, man.
Here, let's listen to that while we play this next round. Give me that work, man. I need something hard. Don't make it easy for a brother.
Where we No, I don't want to rematch. Yeah, we'll rematch.
Oh, you want a different fighter?
No, it's cool. It's cool. I'm going to let this soak in a little bit, and I'll explain.
Separate myself so all of these niggas know I still float above the city when the floodgates close. It's futile to even try to cross me out. Or X me out, I still feeling the O's. Give you time to learn before I put you in the urn. From the ground, you niggas rose, back to that you shall go. Couldn't cut it, any gentleman's clothes. So I buy you niggas life with this millionaire's flow. $1 billion voice on the other end of the phone. $1 trillion tag on what he says alone. Swag on 100,000 billion. My ex is worth $1 trillion. That black Elvis the build. My little friend like a Scarface, the soul place. Black Rob, the soul mob to the papers. Whoa, either this nigga's really hating or we must be accurate on his every last statement.
Down to the master, it's priority. You gon' have to kill to authority. Priority. You gon' have to kill to authority. Bow to the master, it's priority. Priority. You gon' have to kill to authority.
Erase these niggas like the end of a pencil do. This big business, which I'm talking is minuscule. We build a tower to proclaim that we rule. Made moves to ensure that our family has a top view. Made it from the bottom with scraps from barrels to making classics, talking about life's perils. Took it to different levels, elevated, no limits. No cheat codes, we just ball till there's no digits. Could've dumbed it down, but I stay true to the game.
So basically about this record, man, I named it Yield to Authority because at the point in time, I felt like I had complete control over myself. Myself, my environment, my decisions, my life, my path, everything. I had control over everything. And I feel like I broke free. I got tied up in a lot of different things. You know, I got into the whole political aspect. I got consumed. I was reading all of this stuff and researching all of this stuff and got consumed. But what I did learn along the way is there was people who also went through that, you know. And the government has a way of, I'm sorry, I don't mean to say the government, but things have a way.
Keep it real, my G.
Things have a way of consuming someone's mind.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, people don't know this.
Right.
We live in a great country, but it's not the smartest country, unfortunately. You could tell someone anything, and then they're like, "Oh, that's great," because they don't have a way. Much like the youth, you know, they get it from somewhere. They don't got a way. So learning all of this, I broke free. I'm like, I'm not going to fall into all of this smoke screen stuff, you know, all of this flabbergasted stuff, all of this stuff you promising and all this and all that. I'm going to take my way, I'm going to make it, and then I'm going to bring everybody with me. And that's what inspired this record right here.
Okay. That's what's up. It sounds good. I like your the beats that you're choosing.
Yeah,
You know?
I like rock, man. Rock and roll is funny. Rock and roll made me a better writer. When I listen to rock and roll, it actually made me a better writer. And making instrumentals myself, it made me better at making instrumentals too. I had a different understanding of instruments.
What type of rock and roll did you listen to that you say gave you that encouragement?
The 80s, man, like Guns N' Roses, Pink Floyd. I loved Pink Floyd. I like Aerosmith. The only really new rock that I like 3 Days Grace a whole lot, man. I like dude's voice, and he's not talking no nonsense. He keeps it real. You know, I can relate to a lot of things he's talking about. So those are my primary three. I don't understand what's going on. They're moving super fast.
Oh yeah, we got the hyper speed going on right now.
That's cheating. What's up with the ground's lighting on fire? I don't understand what's going on.
Because in this round, to test your luck, it'll give us like different factors that'll hinder us from being able to just win the match normally.
Why did she just eat an apple? Was that an apple?
Nah, they gave me health.
They gave you health.
I got my health up.
So you got a whole faction going on in the background here.
When you work out, when you out here getting it in, you get your health up. And that's what happens. See, I'm just getting my health up. Just a little.
That joint was crazy. That joint was crazy.
Oh, that's what's up, man. I'm loving the music, though. The sound of your music sounds good. And, you know, and that's a quality that a lot of our artists miss out on, the ability to be able to do things on your own, produce your music, get the sound together, to hone the sound. You know, right now we have so many different programs and so much equipment that is just easily accessible on the internet that your music shouldn't sound like you're doing it in the basement anymore. And, you know, it really shouldn't sound like that. And we got to learn how, as producers, to stay with updated sound kits.
I don't know how I feel about that, man. Because honestly, I did all my music from my basement, man. Every single jam. Now, Little John said something that stuck with me. I was watching the crib, right? And he said the shower got the best acoustics. He had a mic in the shower, I think, with like a mattress or something real ghetto blocking it. And I sung in the shower when I was younger, Disney songs and all that. Don't judge me. Y'all all did it. I know
everybody did it. That's where everybody started.
Everybody sung Lion King and The Land Before Time. Stop playing.
Yeah,
but doing that, you know, I realized that there are good acoustics. So I took a shower in my basement. I gutted the shower. I kept the walls. I took down the faucets. I did all that. I turned that shower into a mic booth.
Okay.
You know, and just ran it like that. And it sounds amazing.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really all in the ears. It's not so much the equipment. You really got to have an ear for what's the standards. There's always standards. We got to stop acting like everything is dope. Everything's not dope. Everything in hip-hop is not fly. You got to have taste. That's why there's only a few tastemakers. You know, everybody's not Diddy. And you never will be if you keep accepting everything as the sound that's going to make it feel good, that's going to create that vibe for the people. And it's like, I'm not just saying do it how Diddy did it. No. I'm saying do it how you do it. Leaders with leadership state of mind. Artists that are not afraid to go out and be different. Artists that are not afraid to be innovative and push the culture in a direction that it's not necessarily going in already. What you want to do, pick a new fighter or...
I mean, I don't like the girl eating apples while I'm trying to fight.
Okay,
she's eating apples.
Let's
It's distracting me.
do different modifiers.
She's getting stronger. I don't understand what's going on.
We're going to do different modifiers.
All right.
Go ahead.
Animal in the background. He ain't get an apple.
I'm going to let it go slow, too, so you can see what each modifier is going to be so you know what your handicaps are. Because the handicaps will apply to both of us or some of us. Some of them are only specific.
See, this is why I play Street Fighter, man. You just went in there and you brought it out. Not big bubbles.
So you got rain assist, you got portal combat, which means you'll get sucked through portals. Slippery when wet will slip a lot. You only got 15 seconds to make the most damage possible.
Oh, that's
and you
crazy.
got all the mother.
What in the world? Oh, I like that. Yeah, go ahead and get some of the more bubbles. Ah, snap. That's crazy.
Sub-Zero got me. See? So As far as like what you would say, like as a message, like to the youth, how would you direct the youth? You know, what do you think your message is going to be when people say, you know, my legacy as Infamous Major, what I've created, the things that I plan on creating that I have not created yet? What do you want them to remember you as? Like, are you trying to just get famous, or are you trying to?
No. I had this conversation a few weeks back where somebody told me that I didn't talk like somebody from the hood, and I was proud of that.
Okay.
I was proud of that. And when you mention my name, I don't want you to think, oh, wow, yeah, this is some dude from the hood. He got mad street cred. I don't want you to remember me like that. When you mention my name, whether it be my government name, my stage name, at all times when my name is mentioned, I want to be stabbed for intelligence.
Truth.
I want you to know me as someone who's intelligent, someone who's always thinking upwards.
Truth.
You know
that's what our youth need, man. We need to know it's okay to be a stand-up black man. It's okay to be out here and not telling the youth to do the wrong things. Absolutely. And to have a good image that's positive. We need that. You know, there are strong families out there that are trying to do the right thing to make it every day. Everybody doesn't have to have a side hustle that's, you know, doing something outside of the norm. So I really respect that. And, you know, that's one of the reasons why we're glad to have you on this show. Yeah, I want to get into another one of your records while we play this next round.
Let's roll it, man. Let's roll it.
Let me see. Who I want to be. Let's do an Alien versus Predator. Which one you want to be?
Oh, man. I'm going to take Predator. Alien's a cheat character, man. He's a cheat character.
Fire. What is it called? Friendly Fire.
Oh, yeah?
You want to do that one?
Ooh, yeah, let's do it.
Okay, we're going to do this record called Friendly Fire. This is another record by Infamous Major. Go check out his website, man. Yeah. Definitely check him out. Hot up-and-coming artist, man.
Friendly Fire. Oh, that's...
Please pay attention to intention towards you, or the damage on itself become a pay-per-view swift. Few real niggas left in the city, can't trust the very niggas in your own 360. Spin on the axle till you make yourself dizzy. You can try and silence the quake, niggas still shift. Wild dogs bite the fingertips that feed. Fake niggas ask for favors for they need them. Bitches grow around the home.
It still hits me in the heart, man.
They want to free throw it out, ballin' in they sneakers. I survived on this road a long time, putting miles on my sneakers, niggas barely wanna ride. To my knowledge, you some Predacon niggas, what you niggas got in mind, probably more than meets the eye. It's probably more than get the skies. It's probably why it's friendly fire.
Friendly fire, friendly fire, friendly fire, friendly fire, friendly fire.
Yeah, so...
Friendly fire, friendly fire.
If you remember, man, I was starting up a small label of my own, Grand Family Records, and it was supposed to be themed as that. You know, we were supposed to be the family. We all knew each other quite well. We all were going to move forward together. There was no this person better than the next.
Okay.
And no matter what happened, we were all supposed to have each other's backs. For a while, it was like that. But I did some time for something really stupid, and when I got out, I learned that certain individuals of the record label tried to take it and move it forward on their own without my consent. Started hiring new people, making all these executive decisions, and tried to push me all the way out. And some of the
out of your own company?
Out of my own company. Yeah.
Okay.
And
I mean, that's how it gets like that. Even in big corporations, people get pushed out of it. They're the owner of the company and they get bought out because somebody owns the majority of the shares. Yeah. It happens. I mean, that's why you got to be careful. Business is a dangerous thing in America. It is.
It's dangerous, man.
You don't know how long you can keep your business.
It's so cutthroat.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And the type of person I am, man, I'm not interested in the money. I can use it. We can all use it. So, I mean, I got to survive, but I'm not interested in the money. Everything came out of my pocket. Like, I did everything for these cats. I risked my freedom. I risked my house. I risked everything to get this record label off the ground. It was not easy. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
True story.
And I accepted these people in, and everything was all love, man. And then when I got back out, like, it was just weird, man. People weren't talking to me, and I'm hearing, oh, this person is the runner of this person, and this label's doing this, and the president, and all of these. I'm like, hold on, man. Like,
now, as an independent, you had an independent grind as a record company and as an independent artist.
yes.
How do you feel that is as opposed to trying to run and ask for a record deal? A record deal that's usually a 360 deal that 9 times out of the 10, the money is going to be recoupable by the label, which
I'm
means
show
you have to earn it back.
I'm going to show you something. You see what this
Go
says
ahead.
right here? You
Go
see what this says? This is the perfect time for this right here. It got a controller on it. But it says always in control.
Word life.
Always in my mind.
Truth.
That I have to be that person.
So you're saying ownership trumps everything to you, like owning your
Owning
publishing, owning your music totally.
Not even as far as just music.
Okay.
First you have to own yourself.
True story.
Because if you don't own yourself, then anybody can own you.
So that means you got to know who you are.
You got to know who you are.
Yourself?
You got to know where you're going. You got to know where you've been. You have to own all of that. You can't hide your secrets. You can't pose to be something you're not. And you have to know what you want. 99% of people just don't know what they want. It's easy to portray that. It's easy to fall into something like, oh, I like this. I'm going to do this for a long time. But most people don't know what they want, man. Okay. And I feel like you really have to learn yourself to know what you want. And once you know what you want, then you make those moves, because anybody can slide in there and get over on you, man. Always got to be in control at all times.
True story. We were told to be in control of our music by so many artists that came before us. And it seems like a lot of us are just not taking notes. We got to take notes as independent artists so we don't end up in situations that have us 3, 4, 10 years down the line having to sue record companies for owning all the rights and not giving you the money that you need. Your royalties are not being collected, and you're having a lot of these issues when you go to other companies to own what you already own before you go asking them for the handout. So
what I call this the Miley Cyrus syndrome. Okay? Where when you do get with labels and not owning yourself, you're doing constantly what they tell you to do, what they want you to do, and you're doing it for the money. Because if you're not doing it for the money, what are you doing if you're not doing you? If you're doing them and it's not for the money, what are you really doing? So you're definitely doing it for the money. I don't care what you say. So for so long, you're doing what they're telling you. They're writing music for you. You're singing or rapping what they write. You're wearing what they want you to wear. These strings are so attached to you. And then you get tired of that. And at the end of the day,
speaking about wearing what they want you to wear, how do you feel about artists wearing dresses, skirts, tights, and grown men? These is grown men. They might look like The Rock, but they in tights, running around with little kids next to them. Tell me about that, because that is insulting to me.
That's crazy. It's crazy you mention that.
Yeah,
because
tell me about that.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Lodge. I'm not a homophobe.
Okay.
I don't think it's correct, because everything has an original way, a right way, a wrong way. Right. I don't feel that that's correct, but on top of that, I don't judge, because I do things that people don't believe in. Okay. So even though I feel like that's not correct or the right way, that's your way, and I'm cool with that. You do you. But
now, do you feel that there are things in African culture?
It's really hard to
there are things in African culture that we only practice culturally that we might have accepted other cultures' things onto us, and sometimes we just run with the flow because we don't necessarily know who we are.
What you mean? You might got to elaborate on that a little bit.
So what I mean is, like, in African culture, there was no word for homosexuality. It didn't exist as a rite of passage for young men. And so when we come over here and we were imposed upon, like in a land that we had already had, and then people that came in and took over with new laws and things in place, do you think that everything should be accepted? Like the arguments that we sometimes have and say, this may not be right or that may not be right, but we already had cultural ideologies that, it may not be right to say that you no longer have your culture, but we have to impose this belief system on you and you must accept it because we made it law. Now, how do you feel about it? I don't want to get too political, but I want to give some information so that the people watching can see where different points of view may be coming from.
There's 3 truths.
Okay.
Time,
go ahead,
language, and nationality.
Okay.
Or the 3 ultimate truths. So if you want to know what is right or what is wrong, go back to the beginning.
True story. Always.
Go back to the beginning. And in the beginning, if these things are going on, fine. But if these things are not going on, are not said, was never mentioned, when everything was created, then you know it's wrong. You know it's wrong. You're in denial because everything has a beginning, and you can't. If you begin wrong, then everything's wrong. But if you begin it and then you change it, then obviously the wrong has came later. If there's been a change made.
So how do you feel like what is in your situation, like as far as being a hip hop artist? Do you look at these online streaming companies as really a benefit to independent artists, or are you looking like, okay, you know, because we got the old hip hop mode of the old model of going to a record company, having a record deal with a company solely based in a building. But now we have record companies that are forming themselves online as just streaming services that give artists royalties and make sure that they're getting their publishing rights, you know, the money collected so that they can be paid.
It's funny. I think
How you feel?
Streaming wise, do it yourself.
Okay, tell me about that. What do you mean?
Do it yourself.
Tell me
because, for example, Soulja Boy, Justin Bieber.
Precise.
You know what I'm saying? The internet creates so many possibilities for you to do it yourself. All you got to do is grind. Now, I still feel the same. You're going to sign to a label, whether it be in the office. You could walk up in the office and say, yo, I want to be a part of your label. Or you could go online and email them and say, yo, I want to be a part of your label. To me, that's being lazy. Because what you're telling them is, I want you to
think artists should still be chasing a record deal?
No.
Do you think that record deals are really where it's at?
No, man. I disagree with record deals 100%. 100%. Okay. Now, if it's like a business move, if you want to create a company, even though that might sound like contradictive, if you want to create a record label and then want to help someone with their music, fine. But as far as just trying to get a deal, you doing this all for the deal, that's lazy to me. That's lazy because then you're giving somebody else control of everything you're doing. You don't want to work.
Now, how important do you feel it is that artists educate themselves on what's going on in the industry? Like, do you think they really need to pick up books like This Business of Music?
Yes.
Things like that to get their mind together?
Knowledge is power, man. That term will never change. That's the truest term on the planet. Because how can you get involved in something you don't know? Let me ask you a question. Somebody tells you there's a possibility that a bear is sleeping in that cave. You going to go in that cave and spend the night? Or you're going to see, oh, if the bear's in there, let me see how long this bear sleep. Maybe I could go in at some point after June. What are you going to do? You're just going to walk in that cave and cuddle it up with this large creature? Or you're going to figure out how long that bear going to be in there if there's nowhere else for you to go?
True story.
You know what I'm saying? You always got to investigate, man. You have to investigate everything in front of you.
True story. Knowledge is the key. You know, and never be afraid to take this information that you may be receiving and share it with your family, man. Knowledge is the key everywhere. We gotta encourage the intelligence that our children have. You know, children are born geniuses. Until we give them letter grades to make them feel like they're less intelligent than they really are. And a lot of times we put more emphasis on the letter grade than we put on the acquisition of knowledge. And then the application of that knowledge, which turns it into wisdom. And that's dope. Because, you know, I really want, even though we're talking to an older crowd right now, I really want you all to be able to talk to your children and instill things into them that might be great as well.
The art of war. I think every parent, when their child has a good concept of comprehension, needs to read the art of war. And needs to play Assassin's Creed. I'm gonna tell you something they said on that game that always stuck. You know what the Assassin's Creed little motto was? They would always say, nothing is true, all is permitted.
Oh.
Think about that.
True story. I can
Think
go with
about that. You know
and
what
it's
I'm
based
saying?
on your perception of the reality you create. Is
right.
This basically what you're getting
right.
at?
You know, and when I heard that, I couldn't stop thinking about that, man. I'm like, wow. You know what I mean? And that's the truest thing I've ever heard, man. The truest thing I've ever heard.
I want to slow down, son, because you killing them. And I'm dead right now.
Yeah,
you did an amazing job. You did an amazing job. But you know what? I really want to give you some time right now. I
put on the arms and jumped on the screen. I acted that whole thing out.
I want to give you some time right now to shout out your links to where the people can find your music at, Infamous Major. And I want you to take a moment to give us a live freestyle. Because that's what we're about. We want to put you on the spot. This is Rap Gamers. And we want to know, can you really hold it down? Are you GMO or non-GMO? Is it organic or not? I want to make sure. And I want the viewers that are watching us tonight to make sure that they got the same type of feeling. So y'all can vote on it, give it the yays, the nays, give it the praise. Make sure you share it, whatever, like it. Make sure you like everything that we got going on. And this amazing brother right here about to kill it.
And I take criticism well too, man. So if you're not feeling it, let me know, man. I take criticism quite well. I talk a whole lot of crap when you're not looking, but you never know about that. So it's all good.
Throw on a beat. Throw on a beat for me. Let's see what it's hitting for. Let's see if he got what it takes. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And go to your heart's content. You know, I want you to spit, really get into it. Let them know what you about. Infamous Major, man. This is the first freestyle on Rap Gamers. You know, love is love, man. Let us know what you think about it. Do your thing, family.
Yo, that joint's real hip hop right there. Yeah. I'm from a city where shit gets violent. Some dudes tyrants. You shouldn't try them. Shit'll get crazy. There is no asylum. Dudes murder quiet till shit dead silent. Where's all the sirens? Boys don't care, Bloods and Crips had problems. Red on the street, boys and blue don't bother. The radio, the only thing screaming who shot you. Still, I love my city. Make love to the streets, kiss and hug my city. Smudge your fingerprints, can't touch my city. Open the floodgates, rise above my city. Dudes gon' grind, young guy, that's a given. They trying to make babies, I'm just trying to make a living. So what really is, I lost it.
It's all good, family. Go on, pick it up again. Pick it back up again. That ball, you know, they might take it. Get the rock back, do your thing, baby. Let me see, what you got?
How you feel? Tell me how you feel. My bad. Tell me that the last time you heard something real. We went from all black hoodies and driving in pandas to, I'm losing it, bro. It's cool.
It's all good, man. You killed it, man. Infamous Major. Make sure y'all check out his music. You know, I had a wonderful evening with you all tonight. Much love. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to our channels.
Yeah, man. Had mad fun tonight, man.
AsafoDigital, man. Black Gamers Matter. This is Rap Gamers. Sorgatron Media. We here. Make sure you like us, love us, the whole nine. You know, we all kings. We all gods. Let's return to royalty. Much love, man. Family to Asafo. You know what it is.
No doubt.